Recently, a lot of viewers have been asking for a Scorpion video, but if there's one thing more popular than Scorpion himself, it's the hatred that players have for him. So today, let's discuss the most hated character in Mortal Kombat. But before we go any further, make sure to subscribe if you're new, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to smash that like button as well. So first up, let's talk about Vanilla Scorpion, because this guy had something incredibly broken, and I mean literally broken. It broke the rules of the game. Even though throws do 13% now, when the game first came out, they did 14%, so just keep that in mind, because once Scorpion had your health bar at 14% or less, he could guarantee death with his back throw. You couldn't even break it. Unless you ducked it or jumped away, this back throw was unbreakable and would kill you every single time. And the reason why is because Scorpion has a brutality tied to his back throw, so when you landed it, the game would immediately skip to the brutality. It didn't even wait for your input to see if you broke the throw. It just went straight to the brutality and the match was over. So like I said, that's pretty broken. Once Scorpion had you at 14% or less, he could just go for the back throw, and unless you ducked or jumped away, that throw would land and guarantee your death. Now the good news is, if Scorpion landed this at a tournament, it was actually an illegal way to win the match, and I witnessed this personally at Combo Breaker. I was in the crowd when a player won this way, and I thought he just genuinely won the match, but then people came on stage and started deliberating and talking about stuff, and I was like, what's going on? And that's when my buddy History Behind the Warrior explained the opponent just won using a glitch, because that back throw was completely unbreakable and therefore unfair. But my point is, at a tournament, the organizers and judges could save you from this throw. It wouldn't rip you off. But guess what? Online, you were completely on your own. Sink or swim, baby. If this thing landed, it was guaranteed death and you had no way to escape it. That's pretty broken if you ask me, and certainly very annoying. But next up, let's talk about the teleport, because I know all of you are screaming at the monitor, you want me to talk about the teleport. So in case you played this game later, the teleport was not always a high. It actually used to be a mid, which meant you could not duck under it. And at the tournament level, that made canceling his teleport way more effective, because the opponent was actually scared. They had no way to guarantee duck the teleport. They had to guess if you were going to cancel it or not, and if they guessed wrong, they got combo. However, at the casual level, this teleport was arguably much worse, because online you had to deal with lag, or at the very least some delay. So when this teleport hit mid, it was almost impossible to react to in certain situations. And make no mistake, the Scorpion player knew that, so what they would do, I kid you not, is get the life lead and then jump back, chain. And they would just keep doing that, jump back, chain. And that's because Scorpion's chain is a special high, which means if you crouch block, you're guaranteed to take at least a little bit of chip damage, and as a result, if you wanted to avoid the chip damage, you had to release block and neutral duck. However, the second you did that, you would get caught by the mid teleport and launched for a full combo. Once again, you could not crouch under this thing, so Scorpion jumping back was actually a mix-up, because you didn't know if he was going to throw the chain or go for a teleport. And if you guessed wrong in either situation, Scorpion would get a full combo. He could spin the bar on the chain, or he could spin the bar on the teleport. Either way, he wins and gets a full combo. In fact, the chain is arguably worse, because don't forget, he has a crushing blow tied to this thing. And then for the final nail in the coffin, most characters can't even punish Scorpion's chain on block, and that's why once again, they'd get the life lead and go jump back, chain, jump back, teleport, jump back, teleport, stuff like that. The shenanigans were endless. However, thankfully, this tragic tale has a happy ending, because eventually NetherRealm did nerf the teleport, and now it hits high, which means if you expect the teleport, you can do a crouching attack that lowers your character's hurt box. This will avoid the chain and also beat the teleport. And in fact, this tech can also beat the teleport cancel as well. If the Scorpion goes for a regular teleport and you expect it, your crouching attack will go under it and hit him. But then if the Scorpion player cancels his teleport, your crouching low attack will still hit him, as long as your character lowers their body. Some moves don't lower your body. You gotta pick a down 3 or a down 4. That'll lower your hurt box. No boy, but next up we gotta talk about falling ashes. I think everybody has PTSD from this string. It's just ridiculously good, low risk, and a pretty good reward. So for starters, this move has a crushing blow on counter hit, which will launch the opponent to extend combos, and you get some really good damage afterwards. And because this first hit has really good range, it's honestly not that hard to get this crushing blow. I would say you're pretty much guaranteed to land it every single match. And make no mistake, the Scorpion player knows how good this crushing blow is, and they know how much you fear it, which is why they started to do this. And the reason they can do this is because the first hit hit is only -2 on block, so they can just keep going for it. And if you're unlucky enough to press a button at the wrong time, boom, here comes the second hit for that crushing blow, and they get a full combo. So already that's pretty annoying, but to make matters even more frustrating, the second hit is -7 on block, and due to all the pushback, it is also completely safe. The only way to punish it is with a flawless block. And even though flawless blocking has only gotten easier over time, to this day, a majority of players do not utilize the flawless block function, which means players can just keep doing this over and over again. But then we have Falling Ash's partner in crime, and that's Dark Soul. Why? Because the final hit is so plus on block that Falling Ashes is now a frame trap. If you press any buttons, you're going to get counter hit for a crushing blow combo. However, thankfully, Dark Soul has a huge gap before that third hit, and I'm not talking about a flawless block gap. You can straight up hit Scorpion out of the air if you predict he's going to finish the string. However, once again, the Scorpion players know that, so they would just go for a teleport instead, or a chain, or even better, they would just not finish it and then go for it again. So it's the exact same as Falling Ashes. They are tricking you with that gap because they know you're afraid. Once again, to this very day, both of these strings are a nightmare for most players because they have not learned how to flawless block. And even if they did, let's be real, the Scorpion player is going to start adjusting and outthinking that option if they're a good player. And as a result, both of these strings are still extremely annoying, even at the highest level of play. And next up, let's talk about Demon Dash, because for a short period, this special move was completely broken, and the reason why was its insanely fast startup. As you can see on screen, this move starts up in 12 frames, but before, it started up in 7 frames, which means it's the second fastest move in the game, and that includes normal attacks. As you can see, Scorpion's down 1, 7 frames, which means Scorpion's Demon Dash was the exact same speed as his fastest poke, which is pretty insane when you consider this move travels to grab the opponent. In fact, to a lot of players, this special move was considered broken because Scorpion could punish moves that were safe against every other character. So for example, look at Falling Ashes once again. This move has a lot of pushback. Now imagine this move is -8. Scorpion's Demon Dash could punish this thing, whereas no other character in the game can punish it. Mortal Kombat 11 is full of strings like that are -8 or -9 but have a ton of pushback, and as a result there is no way to punish them unless you go for a flawless block in some situations. But once again, Demon Dash didn't care. This move was remarkably fast at 7 frames and it flew across the screen. It was actually faster than Sub-Zero's slide. I think that's why it actually got nerfed. It was just too good and they had to weaken this thing. And for an honorable mention, let's talk about Death Spin. At a high level of play, chances are you figured out how to punish this thing with your preferred character of play. However, even so, for the longest time, a lot of players had no clue how to punish this thing, especially if they blocked it at maximum range. I mean, let's be honest, this thing has a lot of pushback, and to make things even more annoying, look at all the chip damage it does. So many hits, and then if you amplify, you get even more. At a high level of play, this can actually guarantee death on block. I know because I've done it when playing as Scorpion. But once again, the default version was the biggest nightmare for a lot of players, even skilled players. I've watched YouTubers like Super and LolHounds fight this thing, and they didn't know what to do. Now, of course, eventually you figure out the answer because it is -20, but the answer is usually to dash forward and then cancel your dash with your farthest reaching normal, which is a bit of an advanced tactic for a lot of players. They can't wrap their head around that. Unless you were playing a character like Jade or Sub-Zero with a crazy far-reaching special move, that could punish this thing every single time. It isn't a problem for certain characters with very far-reaching special moves. However, I also want to mention this move starts up in 11 frames, and that is extremely fast for a special move, so you could just pop this thing in neutral, and every now and then you would catch somebody because look how big the hitbox is. Even if the opponent didn't block this thing, it was still pretty annoying. It was great for hitting people, and then if you had the damage buff, it would lead to a ton of damage. If you don't believe me, here's a very basic combo. Look at that, we're getting almost 27%, and that was stupid easy, perfect for beginners. Let's do something a bit more advanced. Still not tough, but a bit more advanced. You are now getting almost 30% for just 1 bar of meter and a very basic combo. And keep in mind, that was all guaranteed too. The opponent had no way of breaking away from that because they weren't in the air. And then last but not least, I wanted to talk about Scorpion's up 3 wake up, because this thing is ridiculously good for so many reasons. For starters, look at the crazy range on this thing. He goes so far. There are very few characters in this game with an up 3 that has that amazing of range. Scorpion's is definitely in the top 3, but then to make things even more sinful and and egregious. Look at how good this thing is on block. That's right, this move is -2, so not only is it fully invincible with amazing range, but it's not even unsafe on block. For many characters in this game, their up 3 is fully punishable, which I think is fine given the fact that it's invincible, and if it has crazy range, it's even more justified, but not Scorpion. He gets to have a really good move that has no risk whatsoever. Well, that's not true. It has some risk. You could jump over it, right? To be sure, but my point is, if you block this thing by guessing correctly, it's still not really your turn. He can mash down 1 if he wants to, and maybe steal his turn back. In fact, real quick, can we talk about how godlike Scorpion's down 1 is? Look at the range on this thing, and on hit, it actually pulls you closer. So really good range for a down 1, and it pulls you closer when he hits you with it. That's really good. Now, thankfully, it is 7 frames, which is 1 frame slower than other characters, but the range on this thing is really good for a down 1. So as you can see, in summary, Scorpion is perhaps the most annoying character that NetherRealm has ever made. And that's mainly because Mortal Kombat 11 is the biggest NetherRealm fighting game. It had the most players, and my god, a majority of them hated fighting Scorpion online. This guy was a menace to society. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Which character do you think is the most annoying to fight? And then while you're down there, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video. It really does help my channel out a ton. And then finish that combo by subscribing and ringing that bell. That way you never miss any future videos. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.